So Ajit, this section is about leadership, right? You've been a leader yourself. You come with solid amount of experience. 22 years is what we're talking of here. Please tell us, in your opinion, what is the most difficult part of being a leader?
I read somewhere, I hope it is true. So I think Saurav Ganguly, the famous cricketer, was recently asked, so what is the difference between leadership and captaincy?
Okay.
Okay, so I think, and I found his reply to be very adept. So he said, captaincy is on ground, the 11 players and what I do as a captain. But leadership is all about taking those individuals along with me, even when I'm off the ground. So I think it makes a lot of sense to me. Whether he said it or not, but the statement makes a lot of sense to me.
It does.
Because as a leader, the captain is only as good as his team, right? Or the leader is only as good as his team.
Right.
So if the team does not perform, the leader does not deliver.
True.
So and the only way the team is going to perform is if they also see merit in their, for themselves in the contribution that they make.
Right.
So one needs to make sure that as a leader, you take the team along. You will not have, we don't have 5 fingers the same. Same would be with human beings. Right. Every person needs to have an opinion.
True.
Will have an opinion, should give an opinion, and one must respect their opinion, even if that opinion is contrary to what the leader wants him or her to do. Right. Give him a ear, or and understand why. Many times it so happens that they are going through some pain, some maybe in personal life or in the official office life, right. Because of which they are saying what they are saying. So one needs to address the root cause as a leader, and once you gain the trust of that individual that the leader meant into their success, right? The earlier saying, success is all yours. So the leader meant into their success, those guys will give everything to the leader. The organization and the leader automatically starts delivering. True. Right. True. So I think it's very important to walk the talk, right? Yes. It's very easy to say that you're not doing it right. Right. But if I put myself in that other shoe, possibly that person is saying, you know what, I did my best. This is how I know to do it. Right. Yes, I may not be doing it right, but then what is right? Please define. Please show me. So if I'm able to show it, I not only increase my stature as a leader, I also gain more respect. The next time when I say, the person believes that yes, there is something more. Yes. Otherwise, the person will keep saying, boss, this is the only sentence that he or she knows to say. True. So it's very important to walk the talk and respect the other person's view and say that he or she also has a say in things, and it's okay to say no. Right. For the other person, it's okay to say. So accept that.
Interesting. Now, what are the most important decisions you make for your organization as the leader, for your division?
So for me, the most important goal would be that the business has to continue. Right. Right. But at the same time, it cannot be, there cannot be a threat perception that is, too high for the business to swallow in case that threat materializes. So it's very important for me that the single most thing is I always need to keep balancing things. Right. I will not get the best of either sides. The perfect side of either side. It has to be the best of both worlds. So there is always a compromise in between, a give and take. There is a discussion, a dialogue that often happens. Yeah, true. Where I try to understand why, what happens if I don't allow that access. How, what will happen, which right. part of the business, which client, who will be impacted, etc. And I need to have that inner conviction which says, yes, there's a TINA factor. There is no other alternative but to do it this way, what they're asking. And then I have to allow it, and where necessary, I have to inform my senior leadership team, saying that here is something that I am forced to allow, but here is the risk that we are going to now inherit because of this, and keep everybody appraised. So that balancing act where I would not want that thing to happen or allowed, but then I have to still allow to sustain the business. How do I?
Right. So between right and wrong, and it's,
and where possible, put checkpoints in between,
right,
and often try to get some early warning signs, so you can limit the damage.
True. So that area is a very conflicted area,
Yes.
and a leader's job is to handle that. So it's a very delicate situation.
Because you're going to have the technology team will say, I don't have the InfoSec approval to go ahead. The business will say, I'm going to lose my business. Do it fast. I need it by today. Tomorrow I'll lose business. And I know my CEO will question, or my CFO, hey, why did you lose the revenues? So it's
true,
in the middle.
Absolutely. That's why, yeah. Now, what are some of the few resources you would recommend to someone looking to gain insights into becoming a better leader?
So some of the resources would be maybe do some yoga or whatever to get some patience. I think the art of listening.
Okay.
One needs to, as a leader, one needs to have the ability to listen, right? Everybody will not know how to communicate in 4 words.
True.
Some may take 40 to say the same. So one needs to have patience to listen and hear the other side. It's not often that I as a leader am right. There are many situations that after hearing it, I've changed my decision. But then it is important that the other side is kind of given enough reasoning as to why a particular decision was not accepted, or if it is being accepted, with what riders in place. So these and one has to have that ability to explain. So one is to listen, right? So I've been listening you for the last 1 hour. You can't say that.
Right.
It is my job to, if it takes 1.5 hours, so be it. But at the same time, the guy may say, I don't have the time to listen to you now because I need to deliver this.
Right.
But then I have to explain him or her as to why it is right or wrong or whatever it is to do it in a particular way.
Right.
Which means I also need to be given some time. So how do you buy that time from that other individual?
Right.
Look at the right moment. Look at the right situation and time of the day, or the state of mind of that individual to open up.
Right.
So don't go to that person when he is already tensed or is in an angry mood. He's not going to listen to you.
True, absolutely.
So those are the things that I think one needs to, otherwise we will spend more efforts communicating the same. My job is to speak less and act more.
True.
And how do I conserve my energy to, so that is one aspect.
Right.
The other aspect obviously is one needs to constantly keep learning, because there's so many things in the market, and the more you talk to people of other, you know that, oh, there's a better way of doing it.
Right.
And how they were doing it.
True.
So one needs to read a lot, participate in forums, and try to learn, and then try to translate it back.
Absolutely. Now, Ajit, how do you encourage creative thinking within your organization, within your teams?
So there are 2-3 ways possibly. One is to tell them, boss, I'm willing to allow you to do this, provided you get me an out-of-box solution, which forces them to.
Yeah, you're pushing
so
them in the right way.
I've not closed the door. I've told them you can still, send a campaign to, prospect customers, but look at ways of how you're going to take a consent. Think through, and I'm willing to help you.
Right.
That is one way of doing it. The other way is to possibly look at laws and regulations that prohibit one from doing it. Say, I can't send a promotional campaign without a consent.
Right.
Therefore, what do I do? Now, please think out of box.
True. Interesting.
So
you're pushing the ball in their court, and you're not.
End of the day, they have to be the owners of their decisions.
Right.
It cannot be said that Ajit said, therefore I did, and therefore I failed.
Right.
We all have to have our equal say in the game, right? And we collectively succeed, we collectively fail, and we learn from failures. We learn from success even more. So that has to be the mantra, and that's something I do all the time. So I keep challenging my guys in saying, I'm not going to give you this access, now think differently. Many times it also happens that I know it is possible, and I know that other guy is just not putting efforts. So if I'm going to be called by my CEO and saying that guy escalated and saying because of you we have delayed, I should have my answers.
True.
So I have to balance it out, and where do I draw the line, and how do I push them and think and make them think differently.
True, and that clearly comes across as one of the key qualities of a leader in that bit. So again, coming back to you personally, what is your secret sauce, Ajit? What's kept you at the leadership position? Could you share a couple of anecdotes or some pointers?
So I think I've been blessed with the kind of opportunities I got. Some of them luck by chance.
Okay.
Possibly some of them because of my hard work, maybe, I don't know.
Right.
But I was privileged to get certain opportunities in life, exposures I should say, where I kind of worked with people who are far superior to me in that job.
Okay.
And it suddenly opened up my eyes to, oh wow, I never thought of this. I'll give you a very, very simplistic example. I was working with a British manager in one of my earlier companies in my US stint, a British American working at the client, and we became very good friends.
Right.
He was actually, I was a vendor in that company and reporting to him, but then we became very good friends, and would take me to his house and share a drink and those kind of things. Right. And one day he said, Ajit, yaar, can I request you something? Whenever you respond to emails, make sure you change the subject line to denote in few words, 2-3 words, what your context is.
Right.
Typically the mistakes we do is we say a person A started an email thread
and it goes
with a subject line. By the time it's going on now for the last 15 days, so many people have responded, and now the topic has changed, but they're still using the same email thread.
Right.
So we end up reading the topic, and then when you go inside of it, it's something else.
It's all different.
The body of the email. So these were small things that I learned. I said, yeah, it makes sense. No one is altering the email.
Right.
Nobody is asking to tamper with what is written in the trail mail.
True.
What you're writing now, just make a small change, right? It immediately gives that person a context in reading.
True.
So I've been privileged to work with such people, and I got to learn a lot.
True.
Second is, now I don't do it that much, but I used to spend a lot of hours in my company. I've spent 14-18 hours non-stop for days, where I would like to get hands-on on stuff. In my previous roles, when I was a developer, etc.,
right.
Tester, I played all these roles, and so that helped me actually learn a lot of things in terms of how to complete an activity. So often we end up leaving activities half done, and when time comes to deliver, we just try to close the lid and package it the way it is.
Right.
It often goes through, but a few months or years down the line, it hits back because the system was very poorly designed, half-baked. So that is something that I've learned, that if you pick up something, close it, no matter how much time it takes. Right. And where it's needed, you ask for more time, but try to close it.
Right. Don't keep anything in the pending.
Don't deliver anything half-baked. Right. It may sail through then, but it will always bite you later.
True.
Right.
And that often happens.
Yeah. What you often want to look at is the long-term gain and not only the short-term gain.
True.
So that's one. And second is I like to read. So that's been another thing. I keep reading a lot.
Okay.
So while I digital stuff. So That's been kind of helping me to kind of keep
Get
current
where
with
you are.
all the new things.
True, true. So again, very good habits or very good pointers that you mentioned here.